Hello and good evening. I am Mamudu Gajaga and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Thank you for joining us. And now here we look at the main local, business, international and sports news headlines. The High Court of the Gambia on Tuesday dismissed an application for an injunction filed by the Kanifing Municipal Court seeking to suspend the proceedings of the Commission of Inquiry into allegations of fraud and malpractices at the KMC. The National Assembly's Standing Committee on Public Petitions on Monday continued its hearing on a petition by some GT board staff highlighting several allegations of corruption and abuse of office against the GT board and the Tourism Ministry. In business news, vendors selling fruits and vegetables at various items at the Serekunda Sandika market have complained about the lack of adequate space and the high price of imported goods. In international news, January the 24th each year is International Day of Education, which observes the role of education for peace and development. We hear from the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. And in sports news, the Gambia reached the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021, where they will face host Cameroon after knocking out Guinea on Monday evening. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. The High Court of the Gambia on Tuesday dismissed an application for an injunction filed by the Kanifing Municipal Court seeking to suspend the proceedings of the Commission of Inquiry into allegations of fraud and malpractice at the KMC. The KMC sought the suspension pending a determination on the Council's lawsuit for the court to squash the establishment of the Commission of Inquiry. Modulamin Choi reports.
The High Court of the Gambia, presided over by Justice Basir VP Mahoney, has delivered its ruling on an application for an injunction that would have restrained the Commission of Inquiry from proceeding pending the court's judgment on the main suit, which alleges that due process of law was not followed in establishing the commission. The applicant in this case is the Kanifing Municipal Council and the first respondent, the Minister of Lands and Local Government. Relying on common law judicial precedents and recent judgments by the Supreme Court of the Gambia, this court admits that it has no power to exercise a restraining order against the established Commission of Inquiry, which was established and gazetted by the Lands and Local Government Ministry. Among recent cases the court relied on for its ruling are the Supreme Court's decision on Gambia Participates versus the Clerk of the National Assembly and others, and Yakumba Jete versus the Clerk of the National Assembly and others, wherein the Supreme Court ruled that no court has the power to restrain the performance of the power exercised by the state. In line with this judicial precedent, Justice Mahoney also rules that the High Court is bound by such a decision. In line with this judicial precedent, Justice Mahoney rules that the High Court is also bound by such a decision by the Supreme Court. It means the act of the Lands and Local Government Ministry is presumed to be regular until determined otherwise in the main suit, which seeks the court to quash the Commission of Inquiry on the basis that it was not lawfully established. Counsels for the applicant and the respondent relied on Section 151 of the Local Government Act in their arguments, one claiming that it was violated, while the other claiming to have duly followed the provision in establishing the Commission of Inquiry. However, this is a substantive matter to be determined on the application of the main suit. The High Court had relied on the State Proceedings Act to dismiss the injunction by the KMC. In handing down the ruling, the High Court judge is of the opinion that the Proceedings Act, which is a colonial law, ought to be revisited as an injunction may be granted against the state in many other jurisdictions, which, if it were not available, would have resulted in great material loss or breach of fundamental human rights. The court adjourns to Monday, the 31st of January, when the councils will submit their arguments before the court on the merits of the main suit. Mohamed Lamin Chai, QTV News.
Well, a deep apologies there for saying Canifing Court, rather it's Canifing Municipal Council. We still move on with the news. The National Assembly's Standing Committee on Public Petitions on Monday continued its hearing on a petition by some GT Board staff highlighting several allegations of corruption and abuse of office against the GT Board and the Tourism Ministry. Appearing to testify was former GT Board DG, who is also a former Tourism Minister. Mahmoud Lamin Choi again.
On Monday, a former tourism minister was the last witness to face the National Assembly Standing Committee on Public Petitions to respond to allegations of corruption and abuse of office in a petition by some GT Board staff. The former minister is testifying in connection to a contract agreement framework between the GT Board and Construct Limited for the construction of an office complex in Kololi, now known as Tropic Shopping Center. According to the contract, the complex was supposed to host offices for the GT Board and the Tourism Ministry. The GT Board entered into a public-private partnership agreement with the Construct Limited for the construction of the complex, with GT Board investing $250,000 after the Tourism Ministry expressed an interest to have office space in the complex.
Would accommodate the Gambia Tourism Board head office. It would accommodate 19 stores on the ground floor. It would accommodate a bowling alley and cinema complexes, I think 2, if my memory serves me right. And that Forest Shams was going to be given a 30-year lease period, during which time he would operate the entire complex, all the other shops and stores within it, the cinema complex and the bowling alley. And over this 30-year period, he would endeavor to recover the investment that he has made in the facility.
During the initial stages of the project in 2014, Benjamin A. Roberts was the GT Board Director General and would later be appointed Tourism Minister. He testified that the project was going well but faced some delays caused by the GT Board.
In the initial stages, the GT Board wasn't going to contribute a dime or a penny. But down the line, the ministry came and expressed interest and said they also wanted to be part of the complex. It was at that time that there were some changes made to the contract.
Construct Limited was given a 35-year lease to operate businesses in the complex to recoup its investment, while GT Board would have its office in the building and save on rent.
Approval was given to us for us to engage Shams, for Shams to incorporate an underground parking to address our fears in terms of parking in the future. Now, because of that, the lease term, initially 30 years, was now increased to 35 years.
Queried in the petition by the GT Board staff is an alleged decision in 2018 by the Tourism Minister, the Tourism Ministry's PS, the GT Board Finance Director and Director General, that the new complex would no longer accommodate the Gambia Tourism Board, who are currently renting premises costing $3 million per annum. The complex is now being operated by Construct Limited after it was inaugurated late last year. The Public Petitions Committee continues to probe several allegations against the GT Board and the Tourism Ministry, and expected next to testify is the present Tourism Minister. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
A 4-apartment line house was on Monday consumed by a devastating fire in Bundung. According to eyewitnesses, the fire started from electric wiring and consumed 4 apartments, including foodstuff, clothing, and other valuables. Babukar C has the rest of that story.
The victim from the first apartment in which the fire started said she saw smoke coming from the roof of the building, and when she entered her room, the fire had already started in the bedroom. The blaze has left more than 15 people from 4 families destitute as their belongings, food items, and the little money they had all perished. Panderimbai, who occupied one of the apartments with his wife and kids, calls on the public to support them as they have lost all they had in the fire. He began by telling me how he heard of the news while he was away.
What happened is that, me yesterday, I went, for work. Then I was called by my wife that, there's a fire incident in the compound here. Then that's the time I rose, I you know, when I arrived, then my own house was on fire. Yeah, nothing was rescued because it hadn't been, you know, it start, you know, in my presence. I would have, you know, been able to at least take out some. But the time I arrived, my own house was on fire. Anyway, for them, they really help us. Yeah, the neighbors, fire service also, they came. Yeah, the time I arrived, you know, here was full of people. You know, they really participated, they help us. Right now, we don't have anything, you know, anything, feeding, clothing, you know, nothing.
Another victim said he was at work and on his way home. I was not here, having gone for work at Tanje, and on my way back I saw smoke in the sky from a long distance, and I said to myself that this is close to my house. I quickly ran towards here, and all I saw was people coming in and out of the house with buckets of water. I quickly ran to my room to collect the little money I kept home and a mobile phone, but the rest I could not save. Isaricilla oversees the house after her husband's death. According to her, the fire consumed all they had, including the little money she had saved for the upkeep of her children.
I was sitting outside and saw smoke coming out of the roof, and I went to open the room only to see the sitting room on fire. At that time, there was no one cooking, so I suspect it came from the electric wiring. Everything got burned, including the children's book and clothes and the $5,000 I kept in the room. I am alone with the children, as I lost my husband a while ago. Thus, this will be very difficult for me and the children. All we are left now with is the clothes we are wearing and the children's uniform. We call on the public to support us in any way possible because we are in their need.
The families are calling on anyone who can to come to their aid at this difficult time. To support them, you can contact them on 3333245 or email news@qtv.gm. Babukar C, QTV News.
From that report by Babukar C, that will take us to a short commercial break. And when we return, we still have some more news stories for you, business, international and sports news.
The GRA, in executing its mandate of collecting revenue for national development in a fair and transparent manner, will recognize and award compliant taxpayers who consistently pay and file their taxes on time and present original and authentic customs documents at the annual Taxpayers Award ceremony. This year's edition of the Taxpayers Award ceremony will take place on Saturday, January 29, 2022 at the Keraba Beach Hotel, commencing at 7:30 p.m. The event will be graced by the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, the executive and members of the business community. The fourth edition of the GRA Taxpayer Award ceremony, a memorable night, is assured. GRA, collecting revenue for national development.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. And first, we look at the latest business news. The Serekunda Sandika market is one of the busiest centers in the Kanifing municipality. Vendors selling fruits, vegetables and various sorts of items at this market have complained about the lack of adequate space and high price on imported goods. Aminata Sise visited the market, and this is our report.
Serekunda, The Sandika market attracts lots of vendors and customers who come here daily to do business. Fruits, vegetables, fabric, herbs, household, among other items are displayed on sale. Due to its strategic location and boom in business, the Sandika has become densely populated over the years. Some vendors have expressed dissatisfaction at the lack of space and the high levy on imported goods. Binta Cesar sells fruits at this market. She shared her challenges and called on the KMC to intervene.
There is no control in this market. The place is so congested and crowded by the wheelbarrow users who block the path. I have been selling fruits in this market for 30 years and I don't have space to sell my fruits. For the past 3 days, I have been searching for a spot to make sales but to no avail.
Our Silla, who sells oranges, urged government to support women in the Sandika market by reducing the price of commodities.
Women are so hard-working. Most of us are the ones responsible for providing the basic needs of the family. The country will be better when prices on commodities are reduced, because our lives depend on sales. We make and we can only make profits when the prices are reasonable.
Babukar Kamara sells cereals. He explains the reason for there being inadequate space, saying that some petty traders have invaded the market, selling fish and chicken. The Sandika, he stated, is only known for selling fruits, vegetables and cereals.
If you tell the truth, some people will judge you and others may think that you are jealous. But the truth is, the Sandika is so tight that the vehicles transporting commodities cannot pass through and some customers find it difficult to make their way through.
Fatu Sane, a traditional herb seller, shared her experience.
A bag of local herbs is very expensive. The price has increased to $1,000, which is not favorable for many. We want to make a profit from the sales so that we can support our families.
According to Lamin Marong, a household hardware seller, the Sandika market is the centered and main source of food and non-food commodities, adding that any food commodities that are scarce or seasonal are always available in the Sandika.
Sandika is commonly known for availability of cereal foods, traditional herbs and ancient tools. We have vendors involved in different types of business in this market, which makes this place the solution of all basic needs for people.
Some vendors in the Sandika market says most of the commodities are imported from countries such as Mali, Guinea-Conakry, Senegal and Nigeria. The market is also known for being one of the oldest markets in the Gambia. In this busy and popular market, it appears the old flocks who have been toiling here for ages feel invaded by the newcomers. For QTV News, I am Aminata Sise.
Now coming up next, international news. January the 24th each year is International Day of Education, which observes the role of education for peace and development. Ajibintu Drame of QTV spoke to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education about issues in the Gambia's education sector.
This is the fourth International Education Day being observed since it was officially commemorated in 2019. This year, the theme is Changing Course, Transforming Education, to promote inclusivity, the right to education, sustainability and the way forward. Transforming the future requires an urgent rebalancing of our relationships with each other, with nature as well as with technology that permeates our lives, bearing breakthrough opportunities while raising serious concerns for equity, inclusion and democratic participation, as stated in UNESCO's Futures of Education report. In relation to this day, low-key celebrations take place in the Gambia. The COVID-19 has affected the education sector, causing schools to close last year and lost contact hours. Claudiana A. Cole, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, explains how the ministry hopes to strengthen the education sector.
To make sure that we provide the school access to education must be made available, and that is by providing the schools. And you will need to know, or you already know, that we have been constructing a lot of schools with the help of MRC Holland, constructing a lot of schools recently, and refurbishing classrooms, and even providing more classrooms in large schools where the enrollment has increased.
Teachers are significant in the education sector. The minister says efforts are made to support teachers as they play a pivotal role.
This ministry, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, is very much aware of that times are changing, trends are changing. We cannot be comfortable with what we have been doing for the past 20, 30 years. We need to be innovative. We need to expand our curriculum. And we have just been looking at the curriculum. We have tried to review our curriculum. We have expanded the curriculum even to include some new subject areas, new disciplines that we did not have before, that are even going to now be among those subjects that will be examinable, particularly in the TVET and the skills development area.
Alhaji K. Mane, Vice Principal of Latrakunda Upper Basic School, gives his aspirations for the education sector.
The relevancy of our curriculum. Because if you look at it, these life skills are very important. From grade 9, you should be able to be employed. Whether you have employment from institutions or not, you are self-employed. I think the key players in quality education will be the teachers. So a lot has to be done in that aspect. As you can see, the working condition of the teachers, we've been here for years, and then, since then, there have not been any significant improvement.
Adama Gay, a 9th grade student at Latrakunda Upper Basic School, also shares her thoughts.
I hope to see early marriage of young girls will be stopped, and our parents let us go to school, let them know that we are the leaders of tomorrow.
On this day, promises and pledges are made for the future. It is important to note that it takes innovation, sustainable development to ensure transformation in education. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
That report by Ajibintu Drame takes us to sports news. And in sports news, the Gambia Scorpions qualified to the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations, and their next opponent is going to be the host, Cameroon, after they defeated Guinea by 1-0 on Monday evening. More in this report. The Scorpions' AFCON journey has been exciting after their narrow victory against Guinea-Sili National to reach the quarterfinals. Musa Barrow scored in the 71st minute with a brilliant finish. Guinea were left wondering how he ran into and through the defense, beat the keeper to slot the ball into the net. This is how some of the players reacted to the victory, including goal scorer and man of the match winner Musa Barrow.
We made it through to the quarterfinals, and I can say nothing more than I'm proud of the boys. I'm proud of all of you guys, the staff members who have been working very hard for this. And I remember one day I was speaking with my dad about this, and I was supposed to choose between Sweden and Gambia, and I had to make a big decision, and I said to them, I'm going to choose Gambia.
I feel so proud to be a part of this team, to lead this team to our first AFCON, to our first quarterfinal in the AFCON. I feel so proud. I feel happy with this boy. It's a pleasure being here with this group of guys here.
It's a great honor to represent the Gambia. It's a great honor. Moreover, to go to the African Cup, to qualify to the quarterfinals. Oh man, it's an unbelievable feeling. I don't know how to describe this.
With the support of the fans back home, our families, I keep believing. We play as a team, we defend as a team. We win as a team, because like I said, this team, we don't have a star, We are all together, one Bena Gambia, all hearts on the field, We give what we have to give, on the pitch, At the end of the day, Allah give us a victory, so we are happy,
Back home in the Gambia, hundreds of fans stormed the streets to celebrate the Scorpions' victory against Guinea on Monday. Westfield had been one of the centers of these celebrations. QTV's Aliou Cisse spoke to some fans, and this is their reactions.
Now Scorpions winning today. How do you feel?
Aliou, I really feel happy today, and
just to say, no one was expecting us to reach to this level. Everybody was like, possibly Gambia will just go to the group stage and they'll be knocked out and they will come back.
Cameroon, the host of AFCON 2021, scrapped past Comoros 2-1, even though their opponents had to deal with COVID-related issues and were missing several players. They had to use an infield player, Chaka Adolhor, who normally plays left-back, in goal. Gambia now faces Cameroon in Saturday's first quarter-final game in Douala. The Scorpions will hope they can sting the Lions on Saturday. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV. And we wish the Scorpions all the best of luck against Cameroon. And that's it for the news. We've completely run out of time. And join us again at 10 for another bulletin.